Welcome back to another episode of the English Leap podcast, the place where we help you improve your English skills through interesting stories and practical advice. Today, we are going to talk about a very special topic that affects almost everyone, which is how to talk with confidence. Confidence is a magical ingredient in communication because when you speak with confidence, people listen to you more carefully and they trust what you are saying. Many people believe that you are born with confidence, but the truth is that confidence is a skill, like playing the piano or cooking, which means you can learn it and practice it until you become a master. In this episode, we will explore exactly how you can build this skill, step by step, using simple changes in your mindset and your body language. First, we must understand what confidence actually is, because many people confuse confidence with arrogance or being loud. True confidence is not about shouting or thinking you are better than everyone else, but rather it is a feeling of being comfortable with who you are and what you have to say. When you are confident, you do not need to prove anything to anyone. You simply share your thoughts clearly and calmly. It is important to realize that confidence does not mean you never feel nervous, because even the best speakers in the world feel fear before they go on stage. The difference is that confident people accept their nervousness and speak anyway, trusting that their message is valuable enough to be heard by others. One of the biggest barriers to talking with confidence, especially when learning a new language like English, is the fear of making mistakes. You might worry that your grammar is not perfect or that your pronunciation sounds strange. And this worry makes you hesitate or speak quietly. However, you must change your perspective and realize that the goal of communication is connection, not perfection. Most people are kind, and they only care about understanding your idea, so they will not judge you for a small grammar error. If you can accept that mistakes are a natural part of the learning process, you will immediately feel a heavy weight lift off your shoulders, allowing you to speak more freely. Let us discuss the physical side of confidence, because your body language sends a powerful signal to your brain and to the people listening to you. If you look at the floor, cross your arms, and hunch your shoulders, you are telling the world that you want to hide, and this makes you feel smaller and less capable. Instead, you should practice standing up straight with your shoulders back and your head held high, as this power pose actually changes the chemicals in your brain to make you feel more dominant and calm. When you open up your chest and take up space, you physically demonstrate that you are ready to engage with the world, and your voice will naturally sound stronger and clearer. Breathing is another essential tool for speaking with confidence, yet most people forget to breathe properly when they are feeling stressed or anxious. When you are nervous, your breathing becomes shallow and fast, which makes your voice sound shaky and makes your brain feel like it is in danger. To fix this, you should practice deep belly breathing before you start to speak, inhaling slowly through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. This deep breathing slows down your heart rate and sends oxygen to your brain, allowing you to think clearly and control the tone of your voice. When you have plenty of air in your lungs, you can finish your sentences with power instead of fading away at the end. Another secret to sounding confidence is to control the speed at which you speak, because nervous people often talk very fast in an attempt to finish quickly. When you rush through your sentences, you are more likely to stumble over words, and it becomes difficult for the listener to process what you are saying. Confident speakers take their time. They enjoy the rhythm of the language, and they are not afraid to speak slowly. By slowing down, you give yourself time to choose the right words, and you give your listener time to understand your message fully. This deliberate pace shows that you value your own words, and you believe they are worth the time it takes to say them. Closely related to speed is the power of the pause, which is something that many English learners are afraid to use. Silence can feel uncomfortable, so you might try to fill every second with sounds like or ah. But these filler words can make you sound unsure of yourself. A confident speaker knows that a short silence is actually very powerful, as it creates suspense and emphasizes the point you just made. If you forget a word or lose your train of thought, simply pause, take a breath, and gather your thoughts without apologizing. The audience will usually wait patiently, and your silence will make you appear thoughtful and in control, rather than confused and frantic. Eye contact is another major factor in how confident you appear to others, although it can be difficult to maintain if you are feeling shy. When you look someone in the eyes, you establish a connection and show that you are sincere and engaged in the conversation. You do not need to stare at them constantly, which can be scary, but try to hold their gaze for a few seconds at a time before looking away briefly. If looking directly into someone's eyes feels too intense, you can look at the spot right between their eyebrows or at the bridge of their nose. This small adjustment makes you look confident and attentive without the pressure of direct eye contact. Now let us talk about the volume of your voice, because if people cannot hear you, they cannot appreciate what you have to say. Many people mumble or speak softly when they are unsure, hoping that nobody will notice if they make a mistake. To speak with confidence, you must project your voice so that it fills the space between you and the listener. You do not need to shout, but you should speak from your diaphragm, which is the muscle below your lungs, rather than from your throat. Imagine that your voice is a ball that you are throwing to the person across the room, ensuring it reaches them clearly and with energy. Preparation is a key element of confidence because it is much easier to feel brave when you know exactly what you are talking about. If you are going to a meeting, a job interview, or a social gathering, take some time beforehand to think about potential topics or questions. You can practice answering common questions in front of a mirror, or even record yourself on your phone to hear how you sound. When you have rehearsed your ideas, your brain recognizes the patterns, and you will not have to search so hard for the vocabulary. This preparation acts as a safety net, giving you a solid foundation to stand on when the conversation begins. However, you cannot prepare for every single conversation, so you must also learn to trust your ability to handle the unexpected. This is where the skill of improvisation comes in, and the best way to improve this is to practice small talk in low-pressure situations. Try saying hello to the cashier at the grocery store, or ask a simple question to a neighbor you see on the street. These small, daily interactions build your social muscles and prove to your brain that nothing bad happens when you speak to strangers. The more you practice these little moments, the more natural and automatic your English speaking will become in bigger situations. Another psychological trick is to visualize your success before you even open your mouth to speak. Athletes use visualization to imagine winning a race, and you can use it to imagine having a successful conversation. Close your eyes and picture yourself standing tall, smiling, and speaking English fluently and clearly to a group of people. Imagine the positive reaction of the listeners and feel the sense of pride and accomplishment in your body. This positive mental imagery primes your brain for success and reduces the anxiety that leads to stuttering or hesitation. It is also important to remember that communication is a two-way street, which means you should focus on the other person as much as you focus on yourself. Often we lose confidence because we are too focused on our own internal worries, thinking, do I look stupid or is my grammar wrong? Instead, shift your focus outward and become curious about the person you are talking to by asking them questions. When you ask questions and listen actively to the answers, the pressure moves away from you. This makes you a great conversationalist, and people will perceive you as confident simply because you are making them feel interesting and heard. Let us address the fear of being judged, which is often much bigger in our heads than it is in reality. We tend to suffer from something called the spotlight effect, where we think everyone is watching our every move and analyzing our every mistake. In reality, most people are focused on their own lives, their own worries, and what they are going to say next. They are likely not analyzing your verb tenses or judging your accent. They are just trying to have a conversation. Realizing that you are not under a microscope can be incredibly liberating and allow you to relax into the conversation. If you do make a mistake while speaking, which will happen because you are human, the confident reaction is to simply correct yourself and move on. Do not stop, do not apologize profusely, and do not make a funny face that shows you are embarrassed. If you say, he go, instead of he went, just say the correct word and continue your story as if nothing happened. If you treat your mistakes as a big deal, the listener will treat them as a big deal. But if you ignore them, the listener will usually ignore them too. This resilience shows that you are in control and that you prioritize the message over the mechanics of the language. Another aspect of confidence is knowing your own value and believing that your thoughts and opinions are worthy of being shared. Sometimes English learners feel that because their language skills are not native, their ideas are less important. This is absolutely not true. Your intelligence, your life experience, and your unique perspective exist regardless of your language level. You have interesting things to say, and using simple English to say them does not reduce their value. Remind yourself that you bring something unique to the table, and your voice deserves to be heard just as much as anyone else's. You can also boost your confidence by dressing in a way that makes you feel good about yourself, which is sometimes called enclothed cognition. When you wear clothes that make you feel professional, attractive, or comfortable, that feeling translates into your behavior and your speech. It does not mean you need expensive fashion, but simple wearing your favorite shirt or a clean outfit can give you a small psychological boost. When you look in the mirror and like what you see, you carry that positive energy into your interactions with others. It is a small external change that can lead to a significant internal shift in how you present yourself. Developing a growth mindset is crucial for long-term confidence, meaning you see challenges as opportunities to grow rather than tests of your worth. Instead of saying, I am bad at speaking, try saying, I am still learning how to speak better. This shift in language acknowledges that your current level is just a temporary step on a long journey of improvement. When you view English as a journey rather than a final exam, you remove the fear of failure because failure becomes impossible. Only learning exists. Every conversation, whether it goes well or poorly, is just data that helps you improve for next time. Let's discuss the importance of smiling, because a simple smile is one of the most disarming and confidence-building tools you possess. When you smile while you talk, your voice naturally sounds warmer and friendlier, which makes the listener more receptive to you. Physically, smiling releases endorphins that lower stress, making you feel calmer and happier while you speak. Furthermore, when you smile at someone, they are biologically programmed to smile back, creating a positive feedback loop that makes the whole interaction easier. It is a universal signal of friendliness that transcends language barriers and instantly creates a comfortable atmosphere. Another practical tip is to practice shadowing, a technique where you listen to a native speaker and repeat exactly what they say, mimicking their speed and emotion. This exercise helps you get used to the rhythm and melody of confident English speech without the pressure of creating your own sentences. You can use podcasts like this one. Pause after every sentence and repeat it aloud, trying to match my intonation. This builds muscle memory in your mouth and trains your brain to accept that you can sound fluent and confident. Over time, this borrowed confidence will become your natural way of speaking. It is also helpful to surround yourself with supportive people who encourage your learning and make you feel safe to practice. If you have friends who make fun of your accent or correct you constantly in a rude way, it will kill your confidence. Seek out language exchange partners, teachers, or friends who are patient and who focus on the content of your speech rather than the form. Being in a supportive environment allows you to take risks and experiment with new vocabulary without the paralyzing fear of judgment. Confidence grows best in a garden of encouragement, not in a desert of criticism. When you are in a conversation and you cannot find the right word, do not panic, but instead use circumlocution, which means describing the word you want. For example, if you forget the word for umbrella, you can say the thing you hold to stop the rain. Confident speakers do not freeze when they hit a roadblock. They find a way around it using the vocabulary they do have. This shows high communicative competence and keeps the conversation flowing smoothly. It proves that you are a problem solver and that you are committed to making yourself understood no matter what. Remember that confidence fluctuates from day to day, and it is normal to have days where you feel shy and days where you feel brave. If you have a bad experience where you stumble over your words or feel embarrassed, do not let that one moment define your entire identity. Be kind to yourself. Acknowledge that it was just a tough day and promise to try again tomorrow. Resilience is the ability to bounce back after a setback, and it is a key component of lasting confidence. The more you practice self-compassion, the faster you will recover from the inevitable bumps in the road. To summarize what we have learned today, confidence is a mix of mindset, body language, and preparation that anyone can master. By standing tall, breathing deeply, slowing down your speech, and accepting that mistakes are okay, you can transform how you communicate. Remember to focus on connection rather than perfection. Listen to others and visualize your success. It takes time and practice, but every small step you take is building a foundation for a more confident future. You have a voice that matters, and the world is waiting to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the English Leap podcast, and I hope you feel inspired to go out and speak with power. If you found this lesson helpful, Please remember to click the like button and subscribe to our channel so you can join us for the next lesson. We release new episodes every week to help you on your journey to English fluency, so make sure your notifications are turned on. Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep leaping forward in your English learning journey. Goodbye for now.